Good evening and welcome to the Independent City Council meeting. It's Tuesday, May 28th, 2020. We're doing this remotely. I'm wearing a mask at the beginning just to remind everybody how important it is to wear a mask in our community. But since I'm in the council chamber with myself, our city manager, and our city recorder who are 20-25 feet away from me and there's nobody else here, I will take this off, but I want to remind everybody to please wear your mask when you're out in public. Good evening, folks. And Karen, do you want to do a roll call so that people that are listening know who's on if they don't have video?
Mayor John McCardle?
Yes.
Councillor Shannon Corr?
Here.
Councillor Michael Hicks?
Here.
Councillor Kathy Martin Willis?
Here.
Councillor Marilyn Morton?
Here.
Councillor Tom Takis?
Here.
And Councillor Jennifer Ranstrom Smith is absent.
Okay. Council members, you have minutes of the May 12th meeting in your packet, and do they meet with your approval?
I move to approve the minutes as received.
Second.
Motion second by Councillor Martin Willis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Hearing no opposition, motion carries. There is no written visitor comment, and there's nobody in the chamber for public comment. We're going to have some councilor liaison reports. Councilor Morton, I think you have a couple, though. I think you have the library and the museum. Do you have anything to share with us?
Yes. Well, first of all, on the library, there have been no meetings of the library board itself, so I have nothing to bring you on that, other than I'm very delighted with the news of who we hired as a new librarian and can't wait for him to get started. Carly at the museum was very kind to give me a written report to share with you. And she says, even though we're not open for visitors, we've been hard at work behind the scenes at the museum. We've been working with the architect on the layout for the new location and finalizing the exhibits that will be included. We're continuing to box up, catalog, and update our collection in preparation for the move. We have packed 350 boxes of artifacts and have updated the information for over 2,000 of those artifacts since March. For reference, the collection we have is over 13,000 items and counting, because we're still updating the archives, which have items not yet cataloged. We've also started to blog, which posts every Friday on orheritage.org. We've also finished installing interpretive panels along the river path and the library, highlighting the history of our area. There you go.
Thank you, Councilor. Appreciate that. Councilor Ransom Smith, while she's been appointed to the WinPay committee, I don't believe that they've met, and I know that there's some Mayor Cease Koontz is working with that group, trying to figure out appropriate dates and times and schedules that that would work for everybody. Moving forward, under my mayor report, I want to talk about two things. One, I want to just report, as you know, that leadership group that's been meeting several times a week with both mayors from here and Monmouth, our respective city managers, our school superintendent, our fire chief, and President Rex Fuller from Western Oregon University. We continue meeting on a regular basis, and that's been really helpful. Some of the input that was provided to the county ended up in their plan for reopening to the governor. That was really important. Also, there's efforts being put together to remind people to wear their mask and how important that is in this phase one opportunity. There's looking to be some video, and so that's coming forward. Also had the chance to spend 20 minutes in one-on-one conversation with Congressman Schrader. We talked about the congressional business programs that they have put out, and some of the good things about them, but some of the challenges. And we talked about the difficulty that folks have had in trying to make those programs work. I offered a suggestion that one of the better ways for Oregon cities to be able to help is if they would just issue us the check and let us run it through our existing loan programs because we can move a whole lot faster than the federal government. And he was really very much in agreement, knowing independence as he does. Also, he's been advocating with Governor Brown to push for some of that CARES money. There's about $1.2 billion that the state has had, pushing for some of that to be distributed to cities and counties to deal with the COVID situation. So it's really nice to be able to have quality conversation with our congressional representatives. Both our U.S. senators and our congressmen have, we've gotten together on a regular basis over the last several months, and that's been really helpful. So that's the end of my report at this point. I'm going to turn it over to Tom Pessimir for his city manager report. Mr. Pessimir?
And Mr. Mayor, sorry to
me.
interrupt. This is Councilor Ranstrom Smith. I have Wi-Fi issues resolved and I'm online now.
Oh, thank you very much. I saw you there, but thank you for speaking up.
Of course.
We were there. Okay. I gave a little bit of a report on your behalf that Mayor Kuntz was working to try to put the WIMPEG things together. And so I put your report together for you.
Thank you. We've been all emailing this afternoon and hope to sort through, you know, there's a series of furloughs for WU, so that's playing effect, but hope to meet in the next couple weeks.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Mr.
Yep.
Pessimir, to you.
Thank you, Mayor. So I don't have a ton of comments tonight, but I'm going to start off with something that's a little sad, actually. Ollie, our local osprey, went missing on Saturday. And so we consulted with some experts to see kind of what to expect. And they've agreed that Ollie and Olga have abandoned their attempts to raise offspring for this year. So right now, Olga seems to be seeking a new mate, and we expect that she or another osprey pair will likely be back next year to try again. So we're going to leave the live feed up for now, just so people can see what's going on, at least until she leaves. And then at some point after she leaves, we will probably do some maintenance. We're hoping to add some sound for next season so that people can hear that. But we definitely are disappointed, and I know a lot of people out there are disappointed, but sometimes these things happen. Business Oregon loan grant matching program. I mentioned this last time, and we have put in a application with the city of Monmouth to basically have a one-to-one matching program. So for every dollar we loan, we could have a $1 of monies from Business Oregon to partner with that. That would be essentially a grant. So it would be a loan grant program. And we're still waiting to hear back. They had told us it would be the end of last week, but we still have not heard back on that. So as soon as we do, we will let you know. We also have had our small business reopening loan program. We had 4 applications for that, and those are being processed right now. I think probably moving forward, if we do get the other program, we will probably end up doing some sort of combination of 2 different programs. There are some things inside the Business Oregon program where people wouldn't be able to qualify, especially if they'd taken any monies from the payroll protection program or any of the other SBA loans. So we still think there's probably going to be value in doing a couple of different things, but we'll wait and see. But we're hopeful, and we're anxious to find out. Lot 7, I did send the Lot 7 documents to Aaron and to our attorney for review. I did not send them till this afternoon, so I'm sure that they probably haven't gotten back to us yet. But we're hoping to get that on the calendar for June. Fortunately, the agreement is similar to previous agreements we've done, so hopefully there won't be too many issues with that, but definitely moving forward with that. And I wanted to announce that we have, or I should say our consultants and Fred Evander have been working hard on the transportation system plan. We're pretty fortunate to have the opportunity to work with one of the better traffic consultants in the world, in Kittleson Associates. There are a number of good ones out there, and Kittleson does a great job. And so they have the ability to do a lot of very high-tech programming, and it's because they run some very large projects. And they have loaned that to us for our particular transportation system plan. So what we're doing is what we call an online open house. It starts on Tuesday and is going to run through June 7th. It's actually up on our website right now. So if you go to our website and click down in the bottom right, you'll see a transportation system plan update. And it's broken down into different rooms. You can go into different rooms if you have a particular interest in bicycles or pedestrian or trails or whatever. And you can go in there and you can make your specific comments related to those activities. They also have populated videos for each one of those areas so that you can kind of see where things are going. So basically, it is a really high-tech way of having an open house. The nice thing about it is people can do it at their convenience. They don't have to show up to a particular time and a place in order to get their comments heard. So check it out. Let me know if you have any comments, but I think I went in there today, played around a little bit, and it was really impressive as what they've done. And so I'm encouraged that we're going to get some great feedback, even though we can't meet in large groups, so we can continue that project going. City Hall, we did open the second floor of City Hall today for the police department, as well as for finance and for other opportunities for the public to come in. We know that people need to pay bills and do other things, and so we have opened that up. Our staff will be wearing masks anytime they're dealing with the public, but we ask that the public give us the same courtesy back as we are trying to continue to keep things open and keep everyone safe. So we're excited to do that. And just to let you know, we're going to continue to open public facilities over time. As time allows, we're going to just kind of take it slowly, and we'll certainly announce things that we do. Library, we're going to obviously work with the cooperative and make sure that we're doing the same thing that our other partner libraries around the area are doing. The one area we're probably not going to open up is the museum. As Councilor Morton mentioned earlier, they are already starting to work on the move, and we are busy doing a lot of other things. It's still going to be a while before the new facilities open, but we believe that it will be open before the end of the year. And we're looking forward to taking the time to make sure that everything gets put together properly and gets moved over. So with that, do you have any questions for me or my staff?
Tom, with the transportation plan, we had originally discussed having a citizen advisory board associated with that. Is that still the plan?
Yes, it is.
Additional questions? Okay, we're going to keep moving. Let's go on to new business. We have an OLCC hearing, and I think Sergeant Headland is handling that. Takes a moment for them to log in here. There he is. He is muted for the moment. Sergeant Headland, you're muted.
Is that better?
Yep, you're good now. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, Councilors. Thanks. You guys should have a copy of the memo that I created for this application. Teal Northwest, doing business as Brew Coffee and Tap House, has applied for an additional privilege license in order to sell for off-premise consumption. This is kind of related to the COVID-19 stuff that some of the other businesses had also taken a look at as well. This also lines up a little bit better with their business model to match up with their West Salem location, that they sell that for off-premise consumption there as well. They also added their son Colin to their LLC, and as a requirement by OLCC to that, he was required to be an applicant. So I conducted a background investigation on the business as well as Colin, and I didn't locate any issues that I saw that should be an issue for them to move forward with this application.
Questions for the sergeant? Everybody okay? This is an action item, please.
Sure. I move to recommend approval of the above liquor license request pending payment of all fees.
Have a motion?
Second.
and a second by Counselor Ransom Smith. Is there further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? I hear no opposition. The motion carries. Thank you very much, Sergeant. We're now
Thank you.
moving.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. We're now moving on to a public hearing of legislative amendment. And so I have a script that I'm supposed to read, so I will do that. This evening, we have a public hearing on a legislative amendment 2020-02 to consider amendments of the Independence Development Code revisions of ADU standards. The City Council will make a final decision based on the complete record, including the testimony received at tonight's public hearing. These proceedings will be recorded. This hearing will be held in accordance with the land use procedures required by the city and the state of Oregon. This is a type 4 legislative procedure. At the beginning of the public hearing tonight, staff will identify the applicable substantive criteria from the city's comprehensive plan or the state of Oregon statewide planning goals. For anyone wishing to speak, we ask that you use the speaker card that are provided. Called upon to speak, you must be recognized and you must state your name and address for the public record. Before we begin, does any counselor wish to declare an actual or a potential conflict of interest in this matter? Are there any? I see shake of heads no, and I hear no one saying that they have one. Okay, we're moving forward. I will now open the public hearing for LA 2020-02 Development Code Amendment revisions of the ADU standard. Okay, and so Mr. Evander, I think this is your opportunity for the staff report.
Great. Hi there, everybody. My video should be coming on, I think, here pretty soon. If not, I guess
we can see you. You look fine.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so hey, I'm here to present on the accessory dwelling unit changes. Basically, the changes are in response to 2 recent changes to state law. Those were SB 1051 in 2017, and then House Bill 2001 in 2019. And both those things sort of switched how cities could regulate accessory dwelling units. What those things said is if you have a single family residence, you have to allow an accessory dwelling unit on that property. Also, it made it clear that certain standards could not apply to accessory dwelling units. Among those standards included things like off-street parking requirements and things like owner occupancy restrictions, which essentially say that one of the units has to be occupied by the owner of the property. So all of both the parking restrictions and the owner occupancy things were 2 things that were in our code that we had to take out. So based on that, we took this to the Planning Commission. We started asking the Planning Commission questions. You know, what would you like to see in this code? Currently, we do allow accessory dwelling units in certain instances. Typically, they have to be larger lots and all that sort of stuff. But we started looking at it with the Planning Commission, and what we came up with was sort of making it the size requirements a little simpler, saying that you had to have an accessory dwelling unit permanently affixed to the ground, and then clearly applying our residential design standards, which are very nice set of codes to the accessory dwelling units. We took that, like I say, the Planning Commission came up with those. They then held a public hearing on it. We only got 1 public comment in response to that. That was from the Fair Housing Council of Oregon. They encouraged us to run Goal 10 findings related to this. And they also encouraged us to consider 4 things. You will note those in my staff report. The Planning Commission considered each of those things based on the letter, and they felt like that they could approve it as it was, and they voted unanimously to forward a recommendation of approval to you folks. Now, they did vote on that with the condition that goal 10 findings be included in the staff report, and I have included those in the staff report for you folks today. So based on that, you can see the code changes. They're pretty straightforward. You can review those, and I guess if you have any questions about those, you can let me know. But other than that, we've gone through the procedural stuff necessary for this. And yeah, the Planning Commission recommends approval of this action. Are there any questions?
Questions for the staff member?
Yeah, I would just like to thank Fred for answering my question about the historic district and how that is in effect. Apparently, we can have ADUs in the historic district, but they have to conform to the normal situation of new construction. And the new code that we're working with soon, hopefully, we'll be approving, should take care of that too. So.
Additional questions? I have a question. With homeowner associations, since this is a state mandate and we don't really have a lot of choices here, are ADUs required out in the air park area? Would they be required to be allowed under the, where if there's conflict between an HOA and what the new state laws are mandating?
You know, that's, I cannot remember the exact answer to that question, and I apologize for that. We don't deal with HOAs a lot as when we're dealing with land use stuff. That's sort of their own thing. But definitely, new HOAs cannot write in restrictive language that prohibits accessory dwelling units. That's definitely clear. I can't remember if this supersedes HOA requirements. That's one thing that that I don't remember. I remember seeing it in there, but that was a while ago when we started writing this. So
okay, thank you. I appreciate that. In some ways, it's not actually relevant to what we have control over at this point. Are there any other questions for Mr. Evander at this point? Okay, I'm going to move us forward. And is there any public testimony? Karen, have we received any public testimony? Is there anybody out in the foyer waiting to testify? I don't see anybody. Tom, do we see anybody? No. Okay. So if nobody has any additional questions, without objection, I'm going to close the public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. Okay. Comments, discussion, and ultimately we go to a motion. Everybody okay?
Yes, and I believe that state law takes precedent over homeowners association rules.
Yeah, I don't know.
Too. I just can't remember. I can't remember how exactly it was worded in there. I know it. I know for certain it's in there. I just can't remember exactly what it says.
It's fine. Thank you very much. Additional questions, comments? If there are none, this is an action item.
I move to approve LA 2020-02 with the findings and recommendation contained in the staff report, and to direct staff to prepare a council bill to adopt the changes.
I have a motion.
Second.
Second by Councilor Martin Willis. Is there further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? I hear no opposition. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving forward to the contract award for the F Street Bridge Replacement Project. Mr. Cottom, I think that this is yours. You're still on mute. There you go. You're off mute now.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. We're bringing a request for the authority to award contract design services for the F Street Bridge. We've been to council 4 times, I think, in the past 3 years on this. Once in 2017, once in 2018 and 2019, and then in 2020 we did a workshop. The city requested, or rather applied for a state Oregon local agency fund. We were awarded that grant for the F Street Bridge.
Mhm.
We were given the notice to proceed in 2019. We went out for an RFP in January of this year. We had 2 responses. One was 3J Consulting and OTAC Engineering out of Portland. We had a selection committee that did interviews and selected OTAC. So we've come forward with a contract from OTAC Engineering to present to council for the design service for the F Street Bridge. The bridge is in the CIP and budget for this proposed and awarded budget year. So it is in the 2021 for the CIP and budget. The contract services for total are $402,000 and $402,081 rather. So we're requesting council to give the authority to award that contract for design services, and we will come back to council for construction services later.
Questions for the presenter? I'm sorry, I'm probably missing something here because in the memo it says 365,528, and you said 400 and some. Did I miss somewhere on the document?
In the fiscal impact, $365,528 is the amount of the contract, with a 10% contingency for that contract.
Thank you. Yep, I see it now. Excuse me, I didn't read all the lines all the way down. Thank you. Are there questions for staff people related to this? This will be really a nice addition once it gets engineered and the construction done, and the state's paying for a big hunk of this, and it'll also be an opportunity to dress up the entrance into Mountain Fir Park Inspiration Garden. So that'll be wonderful. If someone would like to recommend action, that would be wonderful.
Sure, I'll take a stab at it. I move to approve to enter into a contract with OTAK for design services for F Street Bridge in the amount of $365,528 and reserve $36,553 in contingency for justified costs by the design firm, and to authorize the city manager to sign all related contract documents.
Second.
I have a motion and the second by Councilor Kaur. Any discussion? Everybody looks okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And any opposition? I hear none. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Any announcements from people tonight?
Actually, I have a question rather than an announcement.
Please do.
We're all aware that there are a lot of things that are changing in downtown Independence on the business landscape. For instance, Indy Commons is moving down to Independence Grill, which has been vacated by the owners. I am curious if we can ask our downtown manager or appropriate person on city staff, whether it's economic development, community development, whatever, to give us a report on what's happening downtown. When will, for instance, when will Donatello's open up? Are there any takers on the Opera House now that it's going to be vacant? And are there any businesses that are teetering on the edge that we might throw a little bit of trade towards to help them out? If we could get some kind of an update on those things, I would find that very helpful.
Mr. Passmere?
Just to echo, excuse me, what Councilor Morton said, and also any businesses that have closed. You know, I've seen rumors that Independence Grill closed because of some issues, other rumors that it's COVID. So it would just be nice to know, is this directly because of COVID? And is there anything we could have done differently?
Yeah, so just a couple things. First off, we recently put out a survey and we specifically reached out to the downtown businesses. I think we were trying to give all of them a call, at least the ones that we could get a hold of, to try and gather some information about where they're at. Our downtown manager has also gone in and visited a lot of these businesses. Some have been closed due to COVID, so that's been tough. So we will continue to do that. I think, you know, as far as answers go to specific questions, we can certainly put together a report, but it'll probably be obsolete shortly after we put it together, because I think there's still a lot of uncertainty amongst a lot of these businesses as to exactly what they're going to do. And a lot of that will depend on how Oregon reopens and how things go. So if you really want us to put together a report right now, we certainly would be happy to do that. Although I think it probably would be more relevant in a month or two once we kind of know how this phase 1 opening is going to impact people and see where they go. But I do want to assure you that we're reaching out to them. We are trying to figure out how we can help. We put together this loan program. We have another potential loan grant program coming up. We're talking to them about different options and finding out what their needs are. But I would have to say that at least at this point, just because of everything going on, our analysis is fairly incomplete, except for those that we've had direct conversations with. So I guess, you know, do you want us to put together something now, or it's a bit of a challenge? You mentioned Donatello's. Donatello's has been telling us they've been opening for the last year and a half. So, you know, you have to take everything that we hear with a grain of salt, but we're happy to put something together if you would prefer.
Even if it's a work in progress, some kind of a baseline for starting, and then we could get updated with it on the way. I'd like to include in that where the old city hall is as far as final opening. And I won't be so bold as to say, let's know about Independence Station too, because I know that's going to be a little bit longer down the line.
I'm looking at Mr. Pessimir. Instead of a written report, might this just be an oral summary?
Certainly could be. That would satisfy me anyway.
Okay, I think that would work, because that way we can update it from time to time and just kind of walk through. I've kind of heard the projects that you're interested in, but I think we also know the projects that everybody's interested in. So we'll be happy to put something together, and not only put it together for now, but also to make sure that we're continuing to let you guys know where things are going, because everybody cares about our downtown, including all the staff, and we have people working on it. So I think we'd be happy to report out on that.
And hey, Tom, I know this is not in the downtown realm, but if maybe the downtown manager or somebody could check on the owners down at Jade Terrace. I went in for takeout. Things didn't look great, and I just don't want to see them being left out because they're not in the downtown and they're kind of that like last business. But I know that she expressed some concern to me, and so if we could have somebody maybe check in with them.
Glad to.
Thank
Great.
you.
And I know we'll include Central Plaza in that also.
Thank you. I know it's, you know, downtown is so important, but we have those few outliers that I just don't want us to forget that they're still here.
Excellent point.
Good thoughts. Other announcements?
I'm sorry to hog the time here. I just wanted to let you know also that I am still going on a regular basis to the county commission meetings on Tuesday morning, and am very encouraged by what I hear as far as their due diligence to making sure that we're reopening the right way, and that they have also put in a request for funding reimbursement. And I think that I do that because that gives me a broader picture of what's happening in our region.
Great. Anything else from anybody else? If not, I wanted to thank folks. I know we did budget earlier this last week, and I know there was a lot of work in between council meetings. I want to thank people for that. So there's no reason that we need to stay longer, because we've seen lots of pictures on computer screens for a while. So if someone will adjourn us, and I'll put my mask back on and go out into the world.
Move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much.